Imagine a building that could hold the entire knowledge of the ancient world, not metaphorically, literally. Every scroll, every mathematical theorem, every medical treatise, every philosophical debate from Athens to Babylon. Now imagine housing 700,000 individual works in an age when most cities struggled to maintain a single temple library. The Great Library of Alexandria was impossible, yet it existed. In the 3rd century BCE, when most of the world communicated through smoke signals and carved stones, Alexandria created the world's first information superhighway, a place where knowledge flowed like water through carefully engineered channels of human intellect. The paradox isn't just that they built it, it's that they built it to last forever in a world where empires collapsed every generation. This was more than a library. It was humanity's first attempt to capture infinity. The Ptolemaic dynasty didn't just rule Egypt. They engineered a civilization designed to consume information. Picture an empire that stretched from the cataracts of Nubia to the trading posts of the Black Sea, covering over 1 million square miles of the ancient world's most strategic territory. This wasn't conquest for gold or land. This was conquest for minds. Alexandria itself was a purpose-built knowledge. 300,000 permanent residents, but the city could swell to 500,000 during the peak trading seasons when ships from across the Mediterranean brought more than goods. They brought ideas. The Ptolemies had created something unprecedented, a state whose primary export was intellectual innovation. Every ship entering Alexandria's harbor faced a unique tax. Not gold, not grain, but books. Harbor officials would confiscate every scroll, every tablet, every written document aboard incoming vessels. Professional scribes would create copies, while scholars verified authenticity. The originals went to the library. The copies went back to the merchants. This wasn't piracy. This was systematic knowledge acquisition on an industrial scale. The numbers are staggering. Conservative estimates suggest the library processed over 40,000 new documents annually at its peak. That's more than 100 new pieces of knowledge entering the collection every single day, year after year, for nearly 3 centuries. But here's what most people miss about the Great Library. The building everyone imagines, the towering columns and marble halls, was just the visible tip of an intellectual iceberg. The real engineering marvel lay in what we might call the knowledge infrastructure, buried beneath Alexandria. The library's foundation wasn't just architectural, it was logistical. Beneath the main complex, archaeologists have discovered evidence of an elaborate underground network, climate-controlled storage chambers, copying workshops, and what appears to be the world's first systematic cataloging system. The Greeks called it the Pinakes, literally meaning tablets, but it functioned like a primitive search engine. Callimachus of Cyrene, the library's head cataloger, created a 120-volume index that didn't just list books. It cross-referenced them by subject, author, geographic origin, and even philosophical school. This wasn't simply organization. This was information architecture designed to make knowledge discoverable across cultures and languages. The physical engineering was equally sophisticated. The main reading halls featured a revolutionary ventilation system that drew cool air from underground chambers while expelling the heat and humidity that would destroy papyrus scrolls. Narrow windows positioned at precise angles provided optimal reading light without exposing documents to direct sunlight. The building itself was a machine designed to preserve human thought. Storage presented unique challenges. 700,000 scrolls required approximately 50 miles of shelving, arranged in a honeycomb pattern that maximized space while maintaining air circulation. Each scroll was housed in a protective case made from cedar wood, naturally resistant to insects, and labeled with a standardized identification system that allowed any scholar to locate any document within minutes. The library's design solved problems that wouldn't be fully understood until the modern era. Alexandria sits in a seismically active region where the African and Arabian tectonic plates meet. The building's foundation used a technique called flexible anchoring, massive stone blocks connected by bronze joints that could absorb earthquake tremors without compromising structural integrity. But the greater threat was time itself. Papyrus, the primary writing medium, degrades rapidly in humidity. The library's architects created a sophisticated climate control system using principles that wouldn't be rediscovered until the Renaissance. Underground chambers filled with porous limestone naturally regulated humidity, while a network of channels directed cool air from the harbor through the storage areas. Fire was the ultimate enemy. The library incorporated the world's first systematic fire suppression system, sand-filled chambers positioned throughout the building that could be released to smother flames, and bronze-lined walls that prevented fire from spreading between sections. The reading rooms were deliberately separated from the storage areas by thick stone barriers and bronze doors. Water damage required equally innovative solutions. The library was built on a slight elevation with an elaborate drainage system that channeled Alexandria's occasional floods away from the building. Scrolls were stored in waterproof bronze containers, and the most valuable documents were kept in sealed chambers that could survive complete submersion. The building's orientation wasn't accidental. Positioned to catch the prevailing Mediterranean winds, the library used natural air currents to maintain constant circulation. The famous Lighthouse of Alexandria wasn't just a navigation aid. It was part of an integrated system that helped regulate air pressure throughout the museum complex. Within these walls, a unique civilization flourished. The library wasn't just a repository, it was a living ecosystem of human knowledge. Imagine the daily rhythm. At dawn, junior scholars would arrive to prepare the reading rooms, unrolling fresh scrolls and checking the oil levels in the reading lamps. By mid-morning, the halls would fill with researchers from across the known world. The copying workshops operated like scriptoriums, but on an unprecedented scale. Master scribes supervised teams of junior copyists, each specializing in particular languages or scripts. A single complex work, like Euclid's Elements, required a team of 12 scribes working for 3 months to produce one accurate copy. The library maintained over 200 professional scribes working simultaneously. Scholars weren't just visitors, they were residents. The museum, literally Shrine of the Muses, provided housing, meals, and stipends for researchers. These weren't hermits, but intellectual athletes, engaging in daily debates, collaborative research, and competitive demonstrations of knowledge. The afternoon symposiums were legendary. Mathematical proofs presented like theatrical performances, philosophical arguments that lasted for days, scientific experiments conducted before audiences of hundreds. The translation workshops were perhaps the most remarkable feat. Teams of bilingual scholars worked to convert texts between Greek, Egyptian, Hebrew, Persian, and dozens of other languages. This wasn't just translation, it was cultural archaeology, preserving ways of thinking that would otherwise have vanished forever. Specialized craftsmen maintained the collection, bookbinders who repaired damaged scrolls, ink makers who created fade-resistant dyes, and even perfumers who treated documents with aromatic oils that repelled insects while preserving papyrus fibers. The library's destruction wasn't a single dramatic event. It was a slow hemorrhage that took centuries. The real killer wasn't fire or conquest, but something far more insidious. The gradual shift from scroll to codex, from papyrus to parchment, from Greek to Latin. By the 2nd century CE, the library faced a crisis of obsolescence. New texts were being written on parchment codices that were incompatible with the scroll-based storage system. The copying workshops couldn't keep pace with format conversion. Gradually, scholars began choosing newer libraries in Rome and Constantinople that were designed for the new technologies. The Ptolemaic funding system collapsed when Egypt became a Roman province. The systematic acquisition program ended. the professional staff scattered to other institutions. The building itself remained, but the intellectual ecosystem that had sustained it for 3 centuries simply stopped. Climate change delivered the final blow. Rising humidity levels in the 4th and 5th centuries CE created conditions that accelerated papyrus decay. Thousands of scrolls simply crumbled into dust. The survivors were gradually dispersed to private collections or sold as curiosities. The last recorded scholar to work in the library was Theon of Alexandria in the late 4th century CE. After his death, the building stood empty for decades before being converted to other uses. The greatest repository of human knowledge in the ancient world ended not with destruction, but with abandonment. Today, artificial intelligence is reconstructing what we lost. Machine learning algorithms analyze fragments of surviving texts, identifying writing styles and cross-referencing citations to map the library's lost contents. We're discovering that ancient scholars had solved mathematical problems that wouldn't be addressed again until the Renaissance. The library's cataloging system, the Pinnacles, has inspired modern database design. Its climate control innovations inform contemporary archive construction. Its collaborative research model prefigures the modern university system. But perhaps the library's greatest legacy is proof that human civilization has always been more sophisticated than we assume. In an age when most people believe ancient societies were primitive, Alexandria demonstrates that 23 centuries ago, humans created an institution that wouldn't be surpassed until the digital age. The Great Library of Alexandria wasn't just a building, it was humanity's first attempt to build infinity. We're still trying to finish what they...
Oh, before you go, if this video made sense to you, subscribe to the channel. This helps YouTube deliver this content to even more people. Also, leave your like. It's essential for our growth here on the platform. And if you want to support us even more, Super Thanks is right below and helps directly with the production of new content. Comment here where you're from. And thank you for watching us until the end. See you in the next video.